One, two, three. Hello, my astrology friends from around the world. This is Lada from Astrolada.com with the monthly, very awaited and anticipated update on astrological omens and sidereal astrology. Oops, from Trifon Nikolov. Hello, Trifon.
Hello, everybody.
I'm very excited again to present you every month. Trifon shows us whatever omens there are according to ancient astrology, the way they use it, the way they created astrology in the skies. And we're doing an update now for June. Every month he offers you a different discount. This time he is offering for you 1 hour reading with him if you'd like, which is discounted something like 40%, if I'm sure. And just for the next 2 weeks, or also if you'd like a personal reading with him on the fixed stars of your horoscope, which show how your life and fate is different and some very specific details about your life. And last announcement, we're doing a course with Trifon together. He will be talking about the 100 fixed stars. We have a lot of people coming online to watch us live, but if you can't watch it live, you can watch the recordings, you can own it for live. It's happening on Saturday and Sunday, June the 10th and the 11th. If you can't be live, then doesn't matter. We'll make you have all the information will be there. It's over 2 days, and it's a very, very affordable price. And that's Trifon's. He does webinars very rarely, so I'm very excited. Now, what does June have for us, Trifon?
Okay, let's begin. Again, I'm wondering where to start with. I will not make many points, but this time I will make some really interesting connections with the past and the ancient astrology and the stars, the fixed stars. I will especially accentuate on them today because, the stars are the web, the anatomy of the sky, actually. So let's, I have the habit when I start a reading first to start with the bad things so that I can finish with the good ones. So I will start with the topic of Saturn today. Why? Because Saturn is about to be retrograde this month. On the 17th of June, Saturn will become retrograde. We have talked about that already, but it's important once again. So he will be retrograde until October, for a couple of months. So whoever is ruled by Saturn may experience the need to go back to certain topics in his life, to reorganize, to restructure certain things, to slow down a little bit, right? And in general, this time is not so effective for whoever wants to be more successful in business and work. This is natural because the summer is coming. So however, who are those people ruled by Saturn? Of course, all those that have the ascendant in Capricorn and Aquarius. You remember that I mean here sidereal signs, which will mean that in tropical Western astrology signs, this will be the rising signs Aquarius and Pisces ascendants. They will feel mostly those influences of Saturn, actually. And Saturn is making this turn in Aquarius, which is the sign of much related to social groups, for instance. It is much related to even all the people who are interested in astrology very seriously. So they can experience a little bit more troubles in the next couple of days. I already know a couple of astrologers that had some problems already. So anyway, maybe people have to be mostly careful about the topic of friendship. As this is the sign Aquarius, on mostly personal level for everybody, the most important thing can be exactly friendship and also freedom. So people will have to revisit again the problems related to those topics, friendship and freedom in all levels, like personal or social. And we can expect some more heavy experiences and troubles initially with those topics. Then some more work about those topics, and finally in October, resolutions. So this is about Saturn, but it is not only this actually about Saturn. So let's talk a little bit deeper. What is going on? Saturn makes the retrograde station in a very specific degree, the 12th degree of Aquarius. And let's talk about the stars here. That tomorrow we'll be talking about the stars, remember, on a webinar. The last day to have on a good price is today. And Saturn is making a retrograde motion exactly in a degree related to certain fixed star. The 12th degree of Aquarius. An ancient book is saying the following. Whoever have this star rising in the 12th degree of Aquarius, the ancient text is saying, will make their living from the slaughter of man and the spoils they win. And they will also capture wild beasts and tame them. Okay. They will be especially brave soldiers who by their courage overcome fearful attacks in war. They will despise death and attack the enemy with bared breast. Now Saturn stays and turns retrograde in this degree of the brave warriors. So we can expect, I guess, very heavy time in the war in Ukraine.
Yes, of course.
Yes, so where the bravest warriors will be subject to the greatest dangers now.
Mm-hmm.
In the process, Saturn makes a square with Mercury, so I guess a lot of deception and confusion, and maybe even some kind of treachery will be involved. So it looks like really dangerous and really troublesome. And Saturn makes great accent. This is like 17th of June, right? Makes great accent upon military matters. Great accent. However, he becomes retrograde. So I guess this means things will become more difficult. And so another thing, Saturn makes this station in a square with Mercury. Mercury approaches at the same time when Saturn turns retrograde. Mercury approaches from Taurus. And on the 15th of June, 2 days only before the exact turning of Saturn, the square happens. So it's a valid square between Mercury and Saturn at the time when Saturn becomes retrograde. Of course, this is does not look for good for the financial markets, because Mercury is in Taurus, sign of finances. Saturn turns retrograde. He is related to things like property, for instance, and Mercury is in the sign of banks. So you can imagine what I can say now. I think bankers, banks, and traders will go into a lot of troubles.
You know, the report that around 5,000 banks in the States are on the verge of collapse just came out, and in danger of bankruptcy.
Okay, so this danger obviously will be a little bit bigger in the middle of the month, right? And exactly in the same time, the moon also becomes like invisible for a couple of days. 16th to 19th of June, the moon is the so-called black moon, when she cannot be seen with naked eye. And this is a sign that people have to be more careful not to risk new things. So people between 14th, I can say 14th and 20th, or at least 19th of June, better don't risk it. Whatever there you want to do, right? Because the aspects are not good. And so this is the bad part of the month. So just remember this. It's not good for negotiations, for signing contracts, and so on and so forth, for risky financial matters. Right before this square happens in this station of Saturn, on the 11th of June, Jupiter and Venus will make a square to each other. Jupiter in Aries and Venus in Cancer in sidereal signs. And Jupiter and Venus, always when they contact each other, they are prone to create such situations that are very extreme, like people become like overconfident or have great need for pleasure or to satisfy their needs and desires, and they're tending to risk too much, like taking like big loans, for instance. So people be careful. You will be tempted.
Days now. Yeah, it's already June the 9th, those few days with overeating, over drinking, overspending, taking rash financial decisions.
Yes. So be careful, people, not to be tempted towards 10th, 11th, because right after Saturn and Mercury will check the situation in a very harsh way. Or you can have some good time, 9th, 10th, 11th, but try not to be too much, right?
You pay for it after that.
So it's always mixed, as you can see, but this is like the more challenging part. What else? Mercury later will become strong, like going into his own sign in Gemini. This is 24th of June when Mercury becomes more favorable for people, and this is the better time for people to start to travel, for instance, and to make decisions, to communicate, potentially to sign contracts, and so on. Of course, for contracts and so on, people need specific date, like consultation with astrologer, maybe. But whatever, it's still better. 24th of June, Mercury is in his own sign. So good for online activity, good for trading, or at least a little better. And the most important for people, I guess, is good for traveling. It's not good to travel in the middle of the month. Mercury and Saturn making the square in the fixed signs. Usually I have seen that this means danger of like big accidents with very heavy transportation vehicles, like trains, for instance. So we will see something like some of this on the news, definitely. So this is one like tendency with all those aspects. However, there is also something positive later. Let's talk about it. And again, it is related with the fixed stars. What I mean, Jupiter will approach such a place in the sky that is related with the constellation called the Chariot. This is in the beginning of July, like 5th of July especially, becomes like very strong. And I guess, let's just begin. I guess some famous racer in Formula 1 will be born, and there can be some really good quality races around that time. But in general, it's good about moving, about traveling, I guess. And potentially it will show that certain people in that time, or maybe even nations, will be like victorious.
So that's the end of June, the start of July?
Start of July, especially like around 5th of July. Around the national celebration of USA, actually, right? 4th of July. Yeah. So the chariot, it is even represented in the tarot cards.
I know.
In a way, right? So
yeah.
you know, the esoteric meanings of this card is also someone who is victorious, but also it can be someone who achieves elevation, whether it is like in social status or spiritual. So Jupiter will somehow benefit people who are searching for really great development in that time.
Material.
Especially those who are already able to do it, right? So, but everybody will have a touch of this. Everybody, somehow, especially those people who are ruled by Jupiter, right? Who are those? Whoever has the sidereal ascendant in Sagittarius, which in tropical sign is considered to be Capricorn, and also whoever have the sidereal sign ascendant Pisces, who is considered in tropical Western astrology science to be Aries. So those people will benefit from this position of Jupiter. They just had some problems in the last couple of days when Jupiter had a conjunction with the North Node. So they may have been like under the influence of negative emotions or feeling like they are falling in a black hole of a kind in their lives. So, but now things will go better.
But when you said about this constellation, the chariot, I just remembered two people that I know with Mars in Taurus tropically at the start of Taurus, which is the constellation of the chariot that you're talking about. One races and wins boats, a lot of competitions, races and wins boats. The other one races bikes and wins and is super good. And one is a businessman, big businessman. The other one is a famous astrologer, but they both have Mars in those degrees. And I was like, oh my God, it's because I always wondered why Mars there. It's the chariot constellation.
Famous astrologer, interesting. I also have Mars there.
Oh, what do you race?
So, and it's interesting. My Mars is in the house, the 12th house, which by some astrologers is considered to be related to past lives. Now see the connection. Long ago, there was a woman that had some kind of vision about me, and she said that she saw me in her vision in past life, and what I was, according to her, is a charioteer in the world of antiquity, like Ben-Hur. Imagine the
and
movie.
that's in your 12th house of past lives.
Yes.
Mars there on the chariot. Wow.
Yes, and later I saw my Mars with the chariot, and I said to myself, "Wow, this may be actually correct."
So basically, we should check our 12th house, what constellations lie all over that 12th house, huh?
Yes, of course. This is the past, right? The 12th house. What is behind the ascendant? What you just have passed through, let's say. So this is something interesting about the chariot. Chariot is so great constellation with so important stars with different meanings that we'll be talking about tomorrow. So, however, Jupiter now favors the charioteers, whoever they are in the modern world, especially in the beginning of July. I guess some of those famous men who are racing will have some really good events, or in different ways, Jupiter will benefit them, bringing them fortune and relief. So this position is coming. Another thing, this month, Venus and Mars, they're moving together in Cancer, sidereal signs. They're moving in the middle of the sign, by the way, which is considered to be a very mystic place by some ancient authors. So I guess for everybody it's good to give attention to their ancestors throughout this month. Also, Venus and Mars moving through this place, the ancients are saying they may have importance about the condition of eyesight of certain people who have ascendant on the sign Cancer, especially the middle of the sidereal sign Cancer. You know, this will be actually in tropical Western astrology, this will be Leo. Like from the 3rd degree of Leo to the 13th degree of Leo in Western astrology lies this place, which is looking like a nebula in the sky. It's actually the middle of the constellation Cancer, the sky. And so Mars and Venus are going there. But the point about Mars and Venus, this is that Venus is chasing Mars, looking that she's going to make a conjunction. And this is similar to a woman that is chasing a man, right? But she will never reach him. She will never reach him because Venus will turn retrograde before she goes in conjunction with Mars. And this is also good. So it shows some unsatisfied desires potentially for many people ahead this month and next month. But it's potentially good because the conjunction of Venus with Mars would have been actually disastrous. Okay? So people, if you feel unhappy in love this and next month, remember that this is probably a good thing. Okay? So, whatever, Venus and Mars, they will make really like hot time in the sense of passion and love. And the summer is starting. So we'll talk about it more next month because it's a process that goes also for the next month. Now, another malefic position that is happening already, even two. They are already on the news. They happened in the last couple of days, but are still active. So this comment is a little bit like retrospective, but I will just explain where those things are coming from. So first, there was a terrorist attack in France against children. And right now, the North Node is like 8-9 degree, moving between the 8 and 9 degree of areas in the sidereal signs. And the ancients are saying that this degree is related to violence. And Aries represents young people.
What represents young people?
Aries, yes.
And
Aries.
the degrees of violence.
Yes, it's exaltation of the sun, you know, planet related to children, right? So, and the North Node with this start of violence, and there was horrific violence in France. And this aspect also increases the probability of things like sexual violence. So people be more careful. So this is really, really intense right now. Another thing is that Venus made something really, really rare. She was seen in daylight, in broad daylight at noon. Venus was seen in the last couple of days. So the meaning of this, according to the ancients, is that the women, in general, women will be unsatisfied. They will go against the rules. Okay, I guess all you women somehow felt this in the last week. So think about it, but also it's a kind of show of strength, right? because Venus is so bright, so strong, so that she is also seen in the day. Remember, Venus is not the planet of the day. She is the planet of the night. That's why the discrepancy, right? So this is one thing. So it already happened, but it's still valid. It's still valid. So I guess people, especially those people who are much related to Venus, like famous models, actresses, and so on, I guess it was very strong for them. So what else? There is something else, because Venus made this appearance which has some disharmony in it. I have noticed something that I think is related to this. And this is what happened in Ukraine, in Kakhovka. You know, the big water that was, the dam that was destroyed. Remember, Venus is the planet of water. Venus is the planet of water, and Venus is the ruling planet of Ukraine. So everything that now happens there is related to this position of Venus. Also. So this is some connection to mundane astrology. Now something else. But
you said in your last video that there will be big fires. The eclipse was showing. Do you remember what you said?
Yes, yes, I remember. So, well, I'm what to say? I even don't give attention to the predictions that are becoming true, because the ancient astrology works really well, and extremely often when something is in the ancient text, it is really happening. Like in this case, that the eclipses had this explanation in the ancient texts that there will be natural disasters, fires, so on, which is going on. So what else? There are also other things, but because they are also a little bit on the negative side, I will maybe just don't mention them too much. or this will become like a really negative.
Another thing you said. I remember when we were talking about the eclipse in Libra, Sidereal Libra, and you said the famous artist will pass. And Tina Turner passed like a week after the eclipse or something like that.
Yes, this was related also to Jupiter rising and being eclipsed by the moon.
2 omens, yeah.
Yeah, this is a big one. Yeah, this was also partly my logic from the nature of the event in the sky, and it actually happened.
I kept saying a leader, and you kept saying, or an artist.
Exactly.
Sorry to laugh about that. It's just
exactly. This was because Jupiter was in this condition in degrees related to Venus, the planet of art. This is the logic that I used, but I was not like explaining this, right? So, but every time there is some hidden logic in everything that I'm saying. Just it will become like too technical to explain everything, right? So, and what else? There is even the south node. The south node is in such position that the ancients relate this position to a certain constellation called Sagitta, which means arrow. But we can say today, instead of arrow, we can say a rocket, I guess, military one, right? And they say that in this degree is the degree of the river Styx, if you remember from the ancient mythology, the river in the underworld, where the souls of the dead has to cross. So the south node there, again, is a sign of military actions and mortality. And the south node shows that this probably is a karmic thing. South node, you know, is related to karma, to paying past karma. So I guess a lot of karmic events of this sort will be going on right now. So this means that a big part of what happens is also for karmic reasons. This is what I think. Finally, in the end of the month, okay, let's finish with all the positions, whatever they are. So Mars is going in the last degrees of Cancer. So what is about Mars this month is that Mars is still debilitated. Since 11th of May, Mars is in Cancer, sign of debilitation, which is not good for business, it's not good for success in actions for everybody, because Mars is energy, Mars is strength. It's much related to vitality to people also. And being in this sign is not showing like great condition, especially for those who are ruled by Mars. Who are those? People having ascendant in sidereal signs Aries and Scorpio, but in tropical signs, Western astrology used signs, these are Taurus and Sagittarius, like 88% of the cases. So those people are, since 11th of May, are not in their best time. And this is also true for this month, but the hope for them is that actually this position will finish on the 1st of July, Mars enters Leo. And all this will change for you, people. All people ruled by Mars there, hold on till 1st of July. Things will greatly improve for you in that time. However, in the last 5 days of June, Mars will cross a certain area in the sky that some stars, fixed stars, are waiting for him there. Which are those stars? Those stars are said by the ancients to be representing the head of the Hydra. The head of the Hydra.
I know
and the head of the Hydra is a serious place. It's a serious place. The Hydra is a kind of a dragon, right? Which is said in the ancient cultures that it is the guardian of the tree of life, but also in India is said to be the ruler of the underworld.
Would that be something like the guardian of the threshold in occultism?
Yes,
like
I guess.
The figure that you meet before you're able to travel astrally, that is combined of your shadow parts type of your negative shadow side.
Maybe.
Lower nature.
So it is spoken a lot in the legends about this place in the sky, and the mythological figures in different cultures have different names, like whether Ningir-Zida in Babylon, or Naga in India, or Hydra in Greek mythology, right? So it's the same place, or even the dragon in the roots of the tree of the world, Yggdrasil in Viking mythology. They're all talking about the same place. And so this dragon there, Mars will go there. So, and this means that on the lower levels, there will be increased probability of treachery and poisonous experiences and even violence in those days. And people may become like more stingy, and especially those who are ruled by Mars, right? So people try to be on the higher level. Also in India, it's considered that this place in the sky is a place of the first level of mental transformation. First step towards spiritual development.
Oh.
Yeah, there some esoteric astrologers are commenting like this about this place. And this is also an opportunity. It's also an opportunity. But people have to like connect more to the mental side of things, I guess, not to the Martian side, because the Martian side is the animalistic side, the animal side, right? Our instinct to prevail, at any cost, and motivated by whatever we have. So those days will be a little nasty because of this position, and then Mars will enter Leo, the realm of the sun, and the sun gives clarity and light, understanding, and stability. So as you can see, the month is a little turbulent, people, but what is helping here, all the factors seem to be not so positively posited, but there is one position that will be good actually, that we can count on, and this, however, happens on the 24th of June. This is when Mercury enters Gemini, his own sign. So in that time, we will be able to discern much better, to think logically, to make the right decisions. And also people who are ruled by Mercury will have better time. So we count on Mercury, on the rational mind, remember this, 24th of June onward. And people who are having ascendants Virgo and Gemini in sidereal, and Cancer and Libra in tropical Western astrology signs, they will feel the most development and good things from this position. But also there will be something for everybody. Everybody has a sign ruled by Mercury, 2 houses in their charts. And okay, also let's just finish with the following. Remember that the last month I commented that Jupiter in Aries by the ancients is said to be resolving all the crises, all the troubles. And so Jupiter now is this year already in Aries. And whatever happens, Jupiter will help the world and people, things to get actually better.
Perfect. It's good to end on this positive note.
Totally.
Thank you so much, Trifon, for sharing your wisdom again. It's like an astrology lecture every time you do your forecast. I'm sure everyone learned so much. This time we learned about the constellation of the Chariot and at the start of tropical Taurus and the constellation of the Hydra at the end of tropical Leo. So for me, that was like a big lesson. Thank you so much again. And I can't wait to see you for the 100 Fixed Stars webinar this weekend. Or if anyone wants to see it, record it, own it, that will be incredible. And people are asking me, where do you get your knowledge about fixed stars? Which book should I read? And I'm like, Trifon has like 100 books. I don't know which one. There's so many.
I will mention some of them tomorrow.
Perfect. I can't wait. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you, people.
And have a blessed month.